How's it going, guys? What's going on? This is Coach Powell. I wanted to shoot this video for you today to talk to you all about something that's very serious. I am currently in the midst of studying and researching and producing content based on a couple of key content and a couple of key ideas that we use for my organization called the Roundtable. The Roundtable is one of the most fascinating, formidable networking organizations I think you're ever going to find, because we did it on the principles that we think are the most important principles to all networkers, and they are communication, encouragement, and collaboration. Today, I want to talk to you about what we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks, which is a subsection of encouragement. Encouragement encompasses about three key areas. The first area is support. Everybody knows about that. That's pretty interesting and innovative. When we talked about that for the last couple of weeks at the roundtable meetings, if you guys are familiar with that. The second key area of encouragement is confidence, and we spent a lot of time talking about confidence. The last, and what I'm going to suggest is the most important area to discuss when it comes to encouragement, is hope. Now, all three of the key areas of encouragement are important. None is more important than the other when it comes to how you implement them and how you take care of them. You don't need them all. You can encourage somebody with just support. You can encourage somebody with just confidence, and you can encourage somebody with just hope. But for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about hope. I'm going to be dropping several series of videos in here talking about hope. I'm going to be talking about what hope means, how hope is used, how hope is thought about from a religious and spiritual context, how hope is used in small business, how do we make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep our hope moving forward, everything that we can to help others develop their hope. And we're going to try to figure out, ultimately, and share with you exactly what you need to create a hopeful environment. That may mean making sure your home, your business, and everywhere you walk is full of hope. Now, let's get started. We're only going to cover the first concept today, which is the definition and the meaning of hope. So when you talk about hope, you cannot discuss hope without discussing two things. One, you've got to discuss expectation, and you've got to discuss what we call desire. Okay, so I got a nice little illustration here I want to show you. Hopefully you can see it. Let's see. Yep, you can see it. There it is right there. That's the illustration. Hope and desire come together. Well, actually, desire and expectation come together to create hope. If you don't have both desire and expectation, you do not have hope. Now, there's a misnomer out there, and a lot of you talk about when you think about hope, you think about a lot of things. You think about your wishes, your dreams, your fantasies, the things you'd like to see happen in your life and all that kind of stuff. That's not necessarily hope. Hope also includes expectation. That means you know that it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen because you know how it's going to happen. You know where it's going to happen. You know when it's going to happen. There is a plan of execution, some strategy that you know that you can work on anytime you want to. You can just pull the trigger and start, and you can actually be hopeful that something is going to happen, something's going to occur, something's going to appear in your life. Whatever it is that you want to do in your business, in your life, whatever, you got to have expectation. That is the missing phenomenon. That's the missing piece of hope. But when you don't get it right, guys, it's a problem. Because, hope is more than just a feeling. It's a superpower. That's right. It's a superpower. If you get hope right, what happens in the result of all of that is you don't just get what you want. You start moving towards what you want. And you can see how getting there is going to be possible. Just getting there is going to happen. And the question is not a matter of will it happen? The question is when it will happen. See, hope drives everything. Everything. Without hope, you really have nothing. You have no expectations. You have no desire. You can't get anywhere. There's later on in a further session, I'm going to talk to you about some of the famous quotes that people talk about with hope. And there's one author, and I can't remember his name right now, but he basically suggested that it's intelligent not to hope for or expect anything, because that way you won't be disappointed. And that may make perfect sense if you don't want to go anywhere, if you don't want to create anything, if you don't want to do anything, if you don't want to be responsible for anything, then of course you just go ahead and let ignorance be the bliss that you need, and you don't do anything. That's fine. But don't try to figure out, what am I going to do now? Because I don't have any beliefs. I don't have any hopes. I don't have any dreams. I'm not trying to do anything. Nothing is really going to work for me, because after that point, it's too late. The baby's left the farm. I mean, it's done. It's a toast. You might as well forget about it. But, when you talk about hope and expectation, we're talking about a high probability that something's going to happen. You get an elevated sense of anticipation. You want it, you're waiting for it. And there's a compelling suspense because you know it's going to happen. The question is when. All you got to do is keep working hard, keep focusing, keep priding yourself on maybe having the discipline you need to say no to some things in order for you to stretch out and reach this other things. That way you're going to increase your hope. Now, if you think about hope, before you start doing something or start getting in the way of doing something, all of a sudden the hope is small. But as you get closer and closer and closer and closer to achieving it, that level of hope continues to increase and continues to drive more and more effort, more and more energy, more and more focus, more and more commitment, and a deeper level of success. When you feel that, when you finally get close to it, when you finally hit that ball, you finally get that graduation, when you finally get to that end of where you're trying to get to, hope will be at its maximum, and it will continue to drive and continue to move forward. There's a couple of reasons, and we're going to get into this a little later on. The scientists begin to show that it shows that athletes tend to have more hope and be more hopeful than other students on college campuses. There might be reasons for that stem from their ability to control themselves, their physical bodies, be able to create things that they didn't believe they could create unless they had practice and disciplined themselves, and all of a sudden now they can do things that they couldn't do before, and that has helped them drive hopefulness in other areas. That's another thing I love about hope. Hope is a transferable skill. It's something that can move from one area in your life to another area in your life. It's also something when somebody else sees you doing it, they can also feel like they could do it, which is important for leaders to understand. If you're trying to get people to do things, you're trying to set an example for them. You want to make sure that you're doing it in the right way. Because if you're not, what they're seeing is not an example of how to do things. They're not seeing an example of what they can do. And all they're seeing is things are getting done. They don't know how it's getting done. Nobody's in the trenches working alongside of them. And so they don't necessarily believe that they can have what it takes to do what needs to be done. But we're going to talk more on that later. The last thing I want to mention about hope is desire. It may seem simple, but you need to think about this. The more you want something, the more you desire something, no matter what it is, the more you focus, the more you put energy towards it, and all of a sudden you increase your expectation of it. And that's the methodology and strategy you want to talk about and think about when it comes to hope. Desire drives expectation, and expectation drives desire. They work together and separately all at the same time to increase in a vicious circle. Right? So expectation, you've been preparing for something, you've been prepared for it, you're working hard towards it, you've got a plan, you're executing, and you have rational and reasonable expectation that this will happen. You anticipate it, you want it, you need it, and it's going to happen. But then as you get closer and closer to it, you start to, oh man, that desire is kicking in. That passion is really kicking in for it. And that's getting higher and higher, which is driving more expectation, more focus, more energy, more passion, more power. And that's calling on different parts of your brain, which we'll talk about, different parts of your heart, which we'll talk about. And we're going to figure out how to get that alignment between what you desire and your expectations to make sure that your hope is moving in the right direction at the right time. All right, I'm tired of talking to you guys, and I've got a lot more to come in the next few days, so pay attention. I'm going to put some links up in this video that's going to share with you some resources, some tools that I'm going to have available for you, as well as some events that we're doing in the local Washington metropolitan area that you might want to participate on. I might put some of my online events on there too. But anyway, it's going to be stuff that's going to offer you deep discounts and opportunities to participate and play, and I hope that you will share and you will engage in hope with me. If there's something that you're thinking about, you want to know about, you want to just go ahead and put it in the comment section. And if I can, I'll address it in the next video, or I'll address it at some other way. I'll hit you back with instant message or DM, depending on where you saw it. If you saw this on LinkedIn or if you saw this on Facebook, obviously we're going to have different tools available, but I want to engage with you. I want you to answer these questions for yourself. When is the last time you really, really had some hope? And what did you do about it? When's the last time your expectation and desire came together in a very, very spiritual way? And let's talk. Let's begin that dialogue. Let's create an opportunity for everybody to learn from everybody and learn with everybody. I want this discussion to be enriching and empowering, and I hope that you got out of it everything that you need to get out of it. My name is Coach Powell. I hope you enjoyed this. And in fact, I know you did, because I expect that you will. We will talk to you all later. Y'all have a great evening.